This is Steve Zeltzer. I'm with Rescue Pacifica. Also, I do a program called Work Week, which used to be on KPFA but was moved off. The manager said they wanted to go in another direction. But in any event, we're having a press conference here today in front of KPFA to raise the issue of transparency at KPFA, attacks on the KPFA local station board and the listeners, because during the last local station board meeting, a listener was told to shut up by Sharon Adams, who's the treasurer of KPFA and who was just here actually taking some pictures. So she was told to shut up, and also the KPFA business manager, Maria Negrete, only provided the budget hours before the meeting and then attacked local station board members who had questions about the budget. They didn't have proper time to look at the budget so they could have a serious examination. That's part of the job of a local station board member, and that is to approve the budget. That's a job of the local station board, as a matter of fact. So we're here to do that, and also to call for fair elections. We believe that there should be debates on the air at KPFA. There was one debate during this election campaign on an evening program, and that was the end of it. It wasn't been replayed. So the listeners at KPFA should be entitled to hear on the air not only sound bites of the candidates, and that's what they're hearing, but also the debates and issues. So our first speaker at the press conference today is Donna Carter, and Donna is a member running for the local station board. She's a member of CNA, former nurse, and she has some comments to make. Welcome.
I'm Donna Carter. I'm a part of the Rescue KPFA Coalition. I've been listening to the fundraising efforts all morning, and it's left me a little perturbed. I know that the station and the staff worked very, very hard to keep KPFA alive and good programming, but we need more subscribers, many more subscribers. $450,000 is a lot of money for most people, but it's probably the salary of $100,000 of the average middle-class person in this Bay Area. So how are we going to do that? And how are we going to keep KPFA a free speech station? Well, I propose, and I think many of our Rescue Pacifica candidates propose, that we bring in younger people, activists, to deal with the issues of our times, which include climate change. I'd love to see a report every week on how the Line 3 struggle is going on in Minnesota. I'd like to hear from the activists. I know they would love to come and speak with us. Last year, thousands of people marched for Black Lives Matter. What's happened since then? How's it going? What's the analysis there? And medical care. Right now, we're in a pandemic. Thousands of people need more medical care during this pandemic, but they need it all the time. And the cost is prohibitive. Insurance is expensive. We don't have Medicare for all, and we need it. And these are the issues that we should be covering regularly. And this will bring in more subscribers, many more. They don't have to make millions of dollars or even a middle-class salary. It's those little contributions and those listeners that bring free speech radio to the Bay Area. We also support all the stations, all of the Pacifica stations. There's nothing like the Pacifica network anywhere else. So please, let's discuss how we can make this happen. Thank you.
Ain't gonna let nobody turn me around, turn me around, turn me around. Ain't gonna let nobody turn me around. Keep on walking, keep on talking. Got to build a brand new world. Ain't gonna let privatization turn me around, turn me around, turn me around. Ain't gonna let no privatization turn me around. Keep on walking, keep on talking. Got to build a brand new world. Ain't gonna let the KPFA treasurer. Turn me around, turn me around, turn me around. Ain't gonna let the KPFA treasurer turn me around. Keep on walking, keep on talking. Got to build a brand new world. Ain't gonna let the KPFA management turn me around, turn me around, turn me around. Ain't gonna let the KPFA management turn me around. Keep on walking, keep on talking. Got to build a brand new world. Ain't gonna let Maria Negrete turn me around, turn me around, turn me around. Ain't gonna let Maria Negrete turn me around. Keep on walking, keep on talking. Got to build a brand new world. Ain't gonna let no neoliberalism turn me around, turn me around, turn me around. Ain't gonna let no neoliberalism turn me around. Keep on walking, keep on talking. Got to build a brand new world. Ain't gonna let no censorship turn me around, turn me around, turn me around. Ain't gonna let no censorship turn me around. Keep on walking, keep on talking. We've got to build a brand new world.
One of the things that we should respect is people's voices, and during public comment at the local station board meeting, people's voices during public comment should be respected. So as I said earlier at this last meeting, the treasurer of KPFA during public comment, Sharon Adams, actually told the listener to shut up twice. And the Sharon Adams actually is right here, joined us today to defend, saying to the listeners that they should shut up.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much. Yes, this goes directly towards money. Given that the last removed promotion was to follow the bylaws and give members the right to vote over the dispensation of assets, would this LSB be willing to censor the members on this LSB board for repeatedly trying to put Pacifica in receivership via lawsuits and appeals, circumventing the same bylaws that you are talking about? That's one question. The next is, in the realm of reimbursement to KPFA by the PMB, who will reimburse WBII for the lost revenue from being illegally closed down during the fund drive and the legal fees to get them reopened? Number three, the business manager beforehand berated LSB member for asking for budget in advance. The LSB has a right to this. Also, she should have notified the LSB on the property tax issue during these past 6 years. She didn't. And the state assessor's office had no file from KPFA regarding any kind of filing. And the name change actually happened after the actual taxes were due. So we were still late in filing the taxes at the time of the actual name change as well. So that is very, very tepid argument on part of the business manager. I would also like to state that I'm very offended by the comments on the chat against fellow LSB member James McFadden. He has a right to write a truthful article. And in fact, what you are proposing, or what some members on the chat were proposing, was censorship. And I am very offended by the comments on the chat that you had there, calling him a liar. The article was truthful, the one on Counterpunch. It has not been removed. The article is there, and it was in response to an article written by Gendelman, and which was red baiting and green baiting, and it was very offensive, that article. So he had every right to write it as well. And I'd also like to commend Tom Voorhees for, and I would like—
Time! Shut up!
So we have to say we don't accept that kind of behavior, especially by an officer of the local station board, and certainly we don't accept the fact that the business manager, Maria Negrete, attacked and insulted members of the local station board who were asking questions about the budget. We think that the budget should have been provided earlier to the local station board members so they would have a chance to look at it and ask the proper questions about it. And there should be a finance committee. The other stations at Pacifica have finance committees. KPFA does not. And that's, again, a problem because they used to have local station board meetings once a month. They said they wanted to have them every other month and to work on the committees, but then the committee of a finance committee doesn't exist, and they are dropping out of the programming committee and other national boards. So our next speaker, also a candidate, and talking about the issues facing KPFA.
My name is Pete Ferruggio. I'm running on the Rescue Pacifica slate for the local station board here at KPFA. A couple of things I wanted to share. We really need to increase our membership. We need to increase our subscribers. The current management doesn't know how to do this. They're going down the wrong path and just refusing to recognize the active struggles that are happening throughout the Bay Area, especially now since the pandemic is kind of fading back. I'll give you one example that really hurts me. I come from the field of education. Right now, where I live in Oakland, there's a massive struggle going on with the Oakland schools. The privatizers, the billionaires, have been buying school board seats, and they're closing schools and bringing in charter schools to destroy public schools. And KPFA, it's right in their neighborhood. It's a few miles away. They should be covering the struggles of people fighting back against the privatizers on the school board. And instead, you don't hear anything about it, maybe a passing mention here and there. The news department refuses to send out reporters. They have all these apprentices. They could have the apprentices go out and report on the school board meetings and interviewing people involved in the struggle, fighting back, fighting for the black reparations, for example. But none of that gets on KPFA. Instead, what we hear, and this is what originally inspired me to kind of hook up with Rescue Pacifica, we just hear on the evening news and then throughout the day with the mainstream KPFA program hosts, Russiagate, Russia's controlling Trump, which is a ridiculous idea. Russia's controlling Trump. The Ukraine gate, they wasted money sending a reporter to Washington, D.C. to cover the phony Democratic Party impeachment hearings against Trump, where all we got to hear on KPFA was sound bites by Republicans pontificating, neocon messages. And that's what wanted me. I was cursing at my radio because I was listening to Pacific all the time, and that's what they cover. They refuse to cover important local issues like the struggle going on in San Francisco at the community college, where the billionaires are trying to destroy public education for working class and immigrant people, attacking Community College of San Francisco. And there's lots of other struggles around the Bay Area going on. That's how we pull in new subscribers, by meeting them, putting them on the air to discuss and make appeals for solidarity. And KPFA hasn't done any of that. and instead they just have these interminable, and it's still going on now, these interminable, boring, off-putting pledge drives that just drag on forever and ever. I think a quarter of the year or more is now spent on pledge drive time because they don't know how else to raise money. So, and then of course the station manager, when he finally did show up last week at a local station board meeting, he was putting out the message that he's going to try to find rich donors. And the problem with rich donors is when they give you a lot of money, they want, the piper. They are the piper. They paid the piper. They want to call the tune. So I'm just urging people to vote for the opposition slate, which is us, Rescue Pacifica, so we can try to implement some of these ideas and increase the membership and return KPFA to the radical roots in the original Pacifica tradition. Radical radio, people's radio. Thank you.
I mean, this issue of multimedia platform, many young people do not listen to the radio. They're on their mobile device. We have to have live video. We have to be covering the protests and struggles in the streets. Also, I think it's very important that we support Frank Sterling, who is a journalist here. He's a full voice, and he does a program for apprentices. He helps train apprentices. Frank was covering a police rally in Antioch. He was attacked by the police, thrown to the ground along with another person, and he was charged with a lynch. They were charged with lynching and other felonies, and we believe that there should be a campaign by KPFA and Pacifica to demand that the District Attorney of Contra Costa County drop the charges against Frank Sterling. Now, you would think that this would be on the air at KPFA when a journalist at KPFA who's a fighter for justice, who's a Native American, who's a programmer for the people, who has activist programming on KPFA, when he's charged with the police with felonies, it's a complete frame-up.
And beaten up by the cops.
And beaten up by the cops. You think that would be on the air at KPFA. We're demanding that it should be on the air. We're demanding that the manager, Quincy McCoy, the staff of KPFA, and we want to get a petition going, that they should be demanding that the Contra Costa District Attorney free him. The other thing we are saying is that we have to build a multimedia platform. We have to have live programming here in KPFA and at all the Pacifica stations. We're against the shutdown of stations like WBAI, which this station managers spend $80,000 sent to New York for lawyers to keep WBAI shut down.
Behind the back of the local
without letting the local station board know that. Sharon Adams, the treasurer, did not report to the station board that $80,000 had been sent to New York by lawyers. That was found out afterwards. So again, financial transparency is lacking here. This is why people who support KPFA and Pacifica should vote for Rescue Pacifica. The last point I want to make is this election cycle came right after the bylaws that the protectors put on. One of the things they're doing is draining Pacifica and KPFA by lawsuits. The chairman of this, Christine Huggins, is personally suing with other people in court for a judge to take over Pacifica. Why do they want to take over Pacifica? Well, according to Bill Campisi, who used to be formerly on the board and is a supporter of theirs, they wanted a judge to take over Pacifica so then the judge could change the bylaws so they can sell the stations. This is their real plan to solve the financial crisis.
And what an example of hypocrisy by the people running to defend the local management. The chairwoman of the local station board is suing Pacifica. The chairwoman of a Pacifica local station board is suing the Pacifica Foundation. Now, how's that for hypocrisy?
So that, again, that's why, in my view, they're wreckers. They're not really protectors. They're pretender protectors. Why would you be suing? Why would the chair of KPFA board be suing Pacifica to have a judge take over Pacifica. I mean, that's really outrageous and contrary to the principles and goals of KPFA. Now, Lou, the guy the Pacifica was set up to be an independent voice, to have socialist, communist militants on the air, different points of view, and what's become clear is that the station has become more and more sanitized. They're not independent, critical voices, and it's basically talking heads, and that is going to drive people away. That's why the membership of KPFA has gone down from 16,000 to around 12,000 under the management. Now, when the manager came in here, Quincy McCoy, saying that he was going to get money, that was one of his promises when he took over. Well, actually, now at the last meeting, he says he wants to go to grants and big funders, people who have a lot of money. That's not the way we need to rebuild Pacifica, by getting only grants and loans and big millionaires to give money. And because if that's your perspective, then you're going to be dependent on not the listeners but somebody else. And we have to be dependent on the listeners by providing programming that is actually exciting, that people want to hear. That's how KPFA and Pacifica will grow, and we can do that. There is a strike wave going on in the United States right now. IATSE may be going out. The Kellogg's workers are on strike. There's workers all over the country who are going on strike. Let's cover those live. Let's have the voice of these workers on the air. That will excite people and encourage people to really support and give money to KPFA and Pacifica. That kind of programming is what we need. We need programming that amplifies the voices of the working people, the black, brown, Native Americans, and gets their voices out in the Bay Area and nationally. If we do that, we will have no problem with our finances. So thank you for joining us at this press conference.